Hey, welcome back to Math Quest. Hey, today I wanted to go over how to simplify expressions with exponents. It seems to be one of the most confusing topics, so I'm going to expand on it to show you exactly how we get the answers instead of just saying, this is the power of products rule or the power of powers rule. I'm going to show you exactly where they come from. That way, if you learn it, you'll never forget it instead of just trying to remember a process. All right? So let's take a look. Right here, we have several of them. We have 5 times 2m to the third power, x times 2 to the second power, and so forth. So let's start with the very first one here. I'll choose a different color here. So first, I want to show you what this means, right? So this means that I have 5 times, well, here I have 2m to the third power. That means that 2 is to the third power, and so is m. So I have 2 times 2 times 2 times m times m times m. That's what that really means, right? So now that we're able to see this a little bit more clearly, let's take a look at what we have. We have 5 times 8 times m to the power of 3. Okay, so we're not done simplifying. We can still combine the 5 and the 8, remember, like terms. So 5 times 8 equals 40, and then there's m to the third power. And that, my friends, is your final answer. So hopefully you can see where the answers come from. Right here, because 2 is to the power of 3, which equals 8. M is to the power of 3, which we cannot solve any further because we don't have a value for m. And then 5 is just 5, which gets distributed to everything inside. All right? Any questions? Of course not, because it's so well explained. All right. Let's move on here. Let's do the next one. Let's do a different color. I already have orange. Hey, I like this rainbow one. Here we go. So what do we really have here? We have x to the third power times x to the second power. So what do we actually have? We have 3 groups of this. X times x times x. That's 1. Times x times x times x. That's 2. Times x times x times x. That's 3. That's what that basically means, is that I have 3 of these groups, right? Excuse me, I messed that up, because it's 2 groups of x to the third. So 2 groups. So I went a little too far in creating these x's. So here we go. 2 groups of x to the third. Excuse me, I'm about to burp. All right. So really, what do we have here, right, is the final question. Well, and if we look, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 x's, which is x to the power of 6. That's what we really have. Now, how can I really solve this without having to expand everything every single time? Well, take a look at here. When you have an exponent outside of the parentheses and an exponent inside, just multiply the 2 exponents. Okay? So all you have to do is 3 times 2, which gives you that 6. Voila. All right, those little verbal notes that I just gave you, make sure you write them down, because you'll forget them after this video is over. All right, and feel free to pause the video at any time if you need to take additional notes. All right, let's pick a different color. I like this one. All right, so what do we have here? We have 4x to the 5th power times y to the 2nd power. All right, so is that the final thing? Huh. Because there's nothing to do here. Let me double check the problems that I had here. That's x, 4x to the 5th. Yeah, that was the one. I wish I would have noticed. There's nothing to simplify here. There are no other x's, there are no other y's, and there's no value for x and y and 4 and so forth. So therefore, that is my final answer. 4x to the 5th times y to the 2nd. That is my final answer. All right. Sorry, maybe I should have put it all in parentheses, raised it to a power. Then I could have done something similar to this, right? And yeah, let's do that. Hey, why not? We own this platform. We're going to make it happen. Here we go. There's no point in showing you nothing. We're here to learn. All right. So let me get the orange here. And we're going to erase this, make it simple, to the power of 2. So what that means is that everything inside this parentheses is raised to the power of 2. So we have 4 to the power of 2 times x to the power of 5. And that is raised to the power of 2, which means I'm going to multiply them. And that is being multiplied times y, which is to the power of 2 times the power of 2. That is what it means. Once you understand that, you don't have to expand it this way, which I highly recommend you expand it like this until you fully get a grasp on this. So what does this really mean? Let's take a look. 4 to the second power, that's just 4 times 4, which is 16. Then 5 times 2, which is 10, so that's x to the power of 10. And then we have y, which is 2 times 2 to the power of 4. And that's, ladies and gentlemen, is how we would solve that. And the crowd goes wild. Move on to the next one. Here we go. All right. So what do we got here? We have x to the third. Ooh, we have division, so we moved on to division. This is the easiest, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to show you once again what it means, and then I'm going to show you how to solve it. So we have x times x times x. And that also being divided by x. That's really what it means. What does it mean? That's what it means. So what do we have here? X divided by x. What does this equal here? Well, that's simply 1. One giant 1. That's what I like to teach my students. That's a giant 1. Okay, so 1 times x times x. Well, what is x times x? Remember, they don't write them here, or we never write them, but there's an exponent here. And there's an exponent here. We just never write them. So that's when we're multiplying and the base is the same, all you have to do is add the exponents. So that's literally x to the power of 2. That's why you hear teachers say, oh, well, x times x is x squared. Yeah, but people don't understand why. It's because when you're multiplying two numbers with the same base, you add the exponents. All right? So this was literally x to the power of 1 plus 1, which equals 2. Oh, yeah. You getting the hang of it? Oh, yeah. Hey, make sure you're writing this down. Pause the video at any time. Feel free to watch it as many times as you like, free of charge. All right, let's go. Let's move on to this next one. Here we have, oh, let's do green. Green is one of my favorite colors. You know that? That's in case you want to send me a gift. Make it green. All right, so we got the same thing here. Now we have x to the 5th power and x to the 2nd power. Once again, what does it mean? X times x times x times x times x. That's 5 x's being multiplied together over x times x. 2 x's, right? X times x. So right here, this becomes a 1. This becomes a 1. And this is 1, 2, 3. Therefore, we have x to the power of 3. Woo! Expert mode. Oh, yeah. What out? Here we go. All right. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, listen to me carefully. I want you to pause this video, and I want you to write this problem down, and I want you to try to solve it. Then come back and see if you got the right answer. This is the only way you can challenge yourself and see if you're learning it. All right? Go ahead and pause the video. Okay? Now, I'm hoping you're back. You actually tried it. Remember, even if you got the wrong answer, it's okay, because through failure is how we succeed in life. All right? Remember that. So here we go. What do we have here? We have, obviously, I'm not going to draw out 50 x's here, right? So what is actually happening? Let's take a look. 5 times x to the power of 50 being divided by 10 times x to the power, ooh, that's a crazy x, to the power of 15, yeah. That's what we have. Okay, well, let's simplify this. 5 divided by 10. No, it's not 2. It's 1 over 2. Common wrong answer is 2. So it's 1 over 2. So we got that part. So what do we have here? Well, what's actually happening when we divide fractions with the same base? I'm going to show you what's happening here. So this half is being multiplied times x to the power of 50 minus 15, right? Because if you think about it, just like we did earlier, we have less number of x's down at the bottom, so they're going to cancel out, just leaving a big 1 behind here. So this over 1. It's the same thing here, so I brought it up just to subtract it here, which is the easy way to do it. So that would be 35. Yeah, that would be 35. 50 minus 15 is 35. So what we have here is a final answer. I'll write it right here. Half times x to the power of 35. That would be your final answer. I hope you got it right. And if you didn't, I bet you got some of it right? And if you still didn't, I bet you learned how to do it now. All right. Hey, thank you so much for coming to Math Quest. And remember, if you got value out of this, please hit the like and subscribe button, all right? And I'll see you next time on Math Quest. Goodbye.